Breathe smoothly and evenly, so there's no breath holding, right? So we're exercising the joints there, the muscles, the tissue. We're getting a little bit better nerve conduction in there, blood flow in there. Okay, how about one more time? Excellent. All right, let's take that arm, bring it right across your body, and we're going to pull the arm over, turn and look out over your left shoulder. Lift and lower your chin like you're saying yes. So notice if it feels different on this side. Good. And then head comes back to center. We're going to take that arm, sweep it around behind your back. As the arm is here, we're going to hold on to the hand, the wrist, or the forearm. Pull that arm over to the right. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder. So you're looking forward, but your ear is on your shoulder. So we want to make sure we stretch those neck muscles. And then do your no movement. So turning the nose down and up. Breathing in, breathing out. Nice slow movement, you guys. So slow and steady. Couple more of these. Good. And then slowly bring your head back up to center. Release your arm, sweep it forward and all the way up overhead. Reach up, up, up. Get a little bit higher there. See if you can lean over into that right side a little bit. Breathe in, breathe out. And then slowly lower that arm. Let both arms hang down by your sides. Close your eyes. Taking a breath in, let it out with a sigh. And notice what your arms feel like. From your fingers to your hands, to your wrists, your forearms, elbows, upper arms, shoulders, maybe your neck and your chest. Let your eyes open. Good. So let's roll the shoulders a couple of times. All right. And then we're going to take just the right arm and we're going to sweep the right arm up and around. So notice which direction you're going in. Are you going forwards or backwards? Okay, just notice. Not sure, right? And why did you choose that? Right? Don't know. Next time your arm comes all the way down, we're going to switch directions. So if you were going backwards, now you're going forwards. If you were going forwards, now you're going backwards. So again, just notice what that feels like. And then relax that arm. Take the left arm and sweep that one. And notice, are you going forwards or backwards? And why? Did you think about it or did it happen all on its own, right? Next time your arm is down, we're going to switch direction. So a lot of times we make movement and we just kind of engage in the movement and we don't really think about the why of it, right? So let's bring that arm all the way down. Okay, let's purposefully take the right arm and sweep it forward. It's like you're doing the crawl, right? Like swimming. Everybody swim? Everybody have swum in your life? Somebody has never had swimming in their lives. Okay, so this is a one-arm crawl. If you never swam before, this is a one-arm crawl. And you'll sink. Yes, you will sink if you do this, for sure. Okay, and then let's take the left arm and do the same thing, right? So the left arm is doing the crawl. You're still sinking. You're just sinking with the other arm now. Okay. All right. So we've got that movement down. So now we're going to integrate the two, right? So let's do the right arm and the left arm. For all you swimmers, this is easy. For you non-swimmers, this is the crawl. And we're going to add the head, right? So breathe in and breathe out. If you remember your swimming lessons, right? When the arm comes up, when the left arm comes up, you turn your head to the right. When the right arm comes up, you turn your head to the left. And you breathe in when your head is turned, or else you get a lung full of water, right? So really reach those arms, you guys. Really reach. Okay, everybody doing all right? Good. All right, let's relax that. And we're going to do the backstroke. Do you remember the backstroke? So for non-swimmers, this is the backstroke. One arm and then the other arm. We're just going backwards. You don't have to turn your head because your face is up now, right? But you still have to breathe. That is required. That is the only thing required. And see if you can really sweep those arms. Right? How are we doing? Swimming. Yeah. It's so nice out. I could just only think of swimming today. All right. And then relax all of that. Roll your shoulders a couple of times. And then relax your shoulders. Close your eyes for a moment, and I just want you to check in with your body. Notice your shoulders, your arms, your neck, your back. So we've done a lot of work in this upper body so far. Just notice what that feels like. Are you warmer? Do you feel maybe some tingling in there? Are you more aware of that part of your body? We kind of get these sensory deserts. And sensory deserts happen when we are not aware and we don't move our bodies in the ways that we can. So we've kind of lost our perception. So let your eyes open. We're going to move on a little bit, give the upper body just a bit of a rest as we move into the lower limbs. So take your right leg extended out, heel on the floor, and squeeze and extend your toes. Now, if you have socks on and you want to take them off, this might be a good time to do that. Or if you have shoes on, you want to take those off. So foot health is so important for everything upstream. And I don't know about you, but for my body, that's everything, because the feet are the bottom, right? So if the feet aren't, if the tissues in the feet aren't healthy and strong, it's a lot harder to balance, to walk, to move without pain, because problems in the feet can show up in the knee, the hip, can show up in the shoulder. Let's start to point and flex the foot. I'm a big fan of going barefoot. Winter is really hard here in New England to go barefoot because it's just too darn cold. But if you can go barefoot in your house, it really will improve your overall foot health. So breathing in, breathing out. Let's start to circle around at the ankle. We have great shoes. Our shoe technology has made major advancements in like the last 30 years. And the better our shoes get, the worse our feet are. Because the shoes are doing all the work and the feet don't have to. Good, and then let's place that foot on the floor. Now sit up nice and tall. Take your hands right alongside your body, so right around hip level. We're going to push down slightly into the hands. If your shoulders come up like this, relax your shoulders down. Pull your belly in a little bit, and then we're going to bend and extend the knee. Breathing in and breathing out. So we're getting some movement in that knee. So just think about, if you have some knee issues, how the foot on that leg feels, right? So, my knee issue on this side, I also have like a corn on this toe, or I have a callus, or I have a bunion on that foot. It's quite often linked to what's going on in your body, and it's how you use your body. It's not your anatomy, it's how you actually put that anatomy into motion, which is called kinesiology. So it's how you use your body. So the next time you bend your knee, let's have the toes, the bottom of the toes stretched out a little bit here. So again, you can do this with your sock on or your sock off. I like to do this with my sock off because then I can take my toes and spread them out a little bit. If your little toe isn't making contact with the floor, angle your heel out slightly and see if you can get that. Is everybody getting some sensation in the bottom of the toes or the bottom of the foot? Yeah? Can you stand a little more? If you slide your foot back and press down, that'll give you a little more sensation there. Got that? Okay, so the more you press, the more you're stretching the bottom of the foot. So be mindful of your foot. Now, some people, the toes and the bottom of the foot are very rigid, so you want to approach this slowly and cautiously. Other people have super flexibility in the bottom of the foot, so they can go a little too far. So again, just approach it kind of cautiously. Breathing in, breathing out, and noticing what you're feeling here. So we're stretching right now the bottom of the toes. We're stretching the bottom of the foot. Has anybody had plantar fasciitis? Okay, so that is a terribly painful condition that takes a long time to heal. And one of the ways to prevent it is to do this kind of stretching in the bottom of the foot. There's other things you can do as well, but this is one way to do that. Okay, everybody okay with this? We're going to come up over the top of the foot. Now we're stretching this part of the toes and the foot. And as you come up, so notice as you press down, do you tend to have a little more pressure on the little toe side of your foot? If you do, see if you can give a little more pressure to the big toe side of your foot. So right now we're stretching the front of the lower leg. That's the shin, the front of the ankle, and the top of the foot, right? So if you're way out to the side, so I'm going to try and show you. So if in your stretching you're kind of getting this sensation and it's stretching out here, you want to shift it so that you get it more down the center of your leg, okay? Can you do that? A little more down the center? Yeah. And breathe, right? So if you can, bring your foot even farther under your chair so you get a little bit more of the top of the foot. Breathe in, breathe out. This again is going to help with your foot health because you have two different kinds of muscles in the bottom in your feet. You have what's called intrinsic muscles. Those are the muscles that go like from toe to toe, from your heel up to your toes. And then you have something called extrinsic muscles, which are the muscles that go from your foot up into your leg. So that's what helps you walk and move. How are we doing? Everybody still breathing? Getting some good sensation in there? Yes? Not sure? Not sure it's good? It's sensation, that's all we know. Okay, then relax that. Let's extend that leg out. Circle your ankle a little bit here. Let's do some taps, toe and heel. Toe and heel. Good. Okay, we're going to switch sides. So go right to the other side, extend that left leg, heel on the floor, and we're going to start with the toes here. So squeezing and extending. So if you can't see what I'm doing, this is it. Notice how this foot works. Sometimes the feet will work a little differently, especially if you're dealing with an injury or if you've got something going on in that foot. So again, just be mindful of that. And then we're going to tap. So we're flexing and extending at the ankle. So right now, we're working some of those extrinsic muscles, the muscles that go from your foot into your leg. Oh, that breeze feels amazing. Wow. And the birds, I know. It's like having our own soundtrack for life here, right? And then let's circle around. Good. I didn't mention before, but you can always do this with your heel on the floor if you need to get a little bit of a rest. Reverse direction of your circles. Give that ankle an opportunity to move around. Good. All right, let's bring that heel to the floor and then hands right alongside the hips, pressing down slightly so we're giving a little bit of a lift to the spine, pull the belly in, and we're just going to bend and extend. There we go. So we're getting some movement here in the knee. And notice if this knee works a little differently than the other one. Okay, next time you have your foot underneath your chair, we're going to stretch the bottoms of the toes. So start conservatively, right? So get that kind of sensation. Make sure that baby toe is getting some purchase on the floor. So if it's not, you can kind of angle the heel out to the side. You can always slide your foot underneath a little bit more. Press down as firmly as you like. So this foot may require different pressure than the other foot. This foot may be a little stiffer or less stiff than the other. So just kind of monitor that and notice what you're feeling here. Where do you feel it? Is it in the bottoms of your toes? Is it in the sole of your foot? Is it up into your leg and your knee? So there's lots of different places we can feel it. Breathing in and breathing out. Okay, then we're going to come right up over the top of the foot and we're going to stretch the front of the foot, the front of the ankle, the shin, and the top of the toes. So once again, slide your foot underneath a little bit more if you can. And if you're noticing that it's more on the outside, so when you're stretching, if your foot is kind of going in like that a little bit, see if you can straighten the foot so that you feel it here down the front of the shin. All right, breathe in, breathe out. So pressing down a little bit more. And again, just noticing what you feel, where you feel it. Is it different on this side than the other? Is it more intense or less intense? And like I said before, sometimes we have sensation deserts in our bodies. It's places where the tissue doesn't move as well. Maybe we don't move as well. And so our ability to perceive sensation there is diminished quite a bit. And simply by getting into a position, holding that position, breathing into it, noticing, we can create a little more of a lush environment there where we're much more aware of what's happening as opposed to it being sort of empty. Breathing in, breathing out. You all still with me? Yeah, okay, good. All right, and then we're going to release that. Let's bring that foot out, circle around at the ankle just a couple of times, and then we'll do some taps. Toe and heel, toe and heel. Good. Excellent. Okay, now bring your feet underneath your knees. Let your heels rest on the floor and lift the whole front of your foot, or both of your feet. Yeah, so we're lifting them up, right? Okay, so lift as high as you can so only your heels are on the floor. This might be harder in shoes, actually. And then we're going to come up on the toes and lift the heels. So come up, up, up. See if you can come way up on the tippy toes. Tippy toes. Good. And then we're going to come all the way back down. Go up on your heels. Lift, lift, lift. Breathe. Now notice if you're trying to get down there to your feet. Sit up nice and tall. Breathe in, breathe out. And we're going to come way up on the tippy toes. Right? So we're going back and forth a few times. Breathing in, breathing out. And notice as you're coming up, is that harder as you come up on your toes, or is it harder coming up on your heels? And what is it that makes it harder? Where do you notice it? Do both feet operate the same way, or is there a difference from one side to the other? Good. How about 2 more times? Good. Breathing in, breathing out. Everybody still doing that? Good. More than just the bare minimum. Okay, and then relax your feet. Whew. So just take a moment, notice your toes. Notice your shins, your calves, the tops of your feet and the bottoms of your feet. Okay. So now, looking down at your feet, I'm going to ask you to come up onto the outside edges of your feet. So lift the inner edges in all your toes. And then we're going to come up on the inside edges. So for me, I'm going to have to walk my feet a little farther out to do that. So we're going to come out to the outer edges and into the inner edges. And keep going back and forth. Now, as you come onto the outer edges, press your little toe, your pinky toe, into the floor. And as you come onto the inner edges, press your big toe into the floor. Right? It's a little bit of a dance. Right? Breathing in, breathing out. Notice how your breath changes, right? So this is not generally a movement you do, I think, right? Anybody do this all the time? So your breath, as soon as we do something weird or different, your breath just kind of goes, hey, wait a second, what's going on here? Be quiet. We're trying to listen to see what's happening. Okay, you got that? Okay, relax your feet a little bit. Good, lift them up, kind of tap them. Feel the bottoms of your feet. What do you notice there? Okay, relaxing the feet. Now look down again at your feet. Look at all your beautiful toes. Nice. Okay, so let's keep the, oh, I love feet. Don't disparage your feet. Feet are beautiful. Feet are so important. I think it was Michelangelo that said, feet are the most exquisite piece of structural machinery in the entire universe. You have like 33 bones in your feet, or joints in your feet. Over a quarter of the bones in your whole body are in your feet. That's amazing. That's amazing. They would not have put so much effort into this design if it wasn't crucial to how we move, right? Okay, so looking at your gorgeous feet, we're going to leave all the little toes on the floor and lift just your big toes. And then lower down. Now notice, if when you lift your big toes, if you do this, right? Do your legs move? You don't want your legs to move. So keep your hands right there. That reminds your knees that they are not involved in this. Your knees are just observing. So see if you can lift just your big toes without coming onto the outside edge of your feet, without moving your knees, just your big toes. If you look down, you might have an easier time of it, right? If you look at your feet, because again, if this is a movement that you don't do on a regular basis, it can be a little bit weird. If you can't lift just your big toes and you're able to lean forward, put your hands on all those little toes And keep them pressed down. So you're lifting just the big toes. Got that? You might have to really push. You might have some insistent toes there, right? Yeah. I promise if you practice this, you will get it. If you're having a hard time with it, you will get it. Okay. Let's relax that and everybody take a breath. Because I know you were holding your breath. So for many of us, the reason why the toes don't operate independently is because we're in shoes all the time. And shoes force our toes to move together as one unit. Imagine that from the time you were, how old are we when we first get into shoes? Like maybe 2? Something like that? 3? I'm not entirely sure. But imagine from that age on, every day you wrapped your hands in leather mittens. Tight leather mittens. Imagine what your hands would be able to do or not be able to do if that's how you went through your whole life. Here we are now at this stage in life having done the exact same thing to our feet for, you're all like 50-ish, so like 50 years, yeah. So, it's going to take 50 years of undoing to get this right. So now let's leave the big toes on the floor and see if we can lift all the little toes without letting the knees come in. So if you're like this, you're cheating. Get your knees over your ankles. Big toes on the floor, lift and lower all the little toes. Breathe in, breathe out. Try not to come up onto the inside edge of your foot now, right? So you want to keep your foot flat on the floor. We're lifting and lowering. So those of you who are lifting and holding, come back. Come back. There we go. How's that? Much easier, right? Who found it easier? Let's relax. Who found it easier to lift all the little toes? Some do. Who found it easier to lift the big toes? And who thinks this is just craziness? Yeah, this is just nuts, right? Okay. So let's try this. So keeping the feet on the floor and lifting the toes, that's working the intrinsic muscles on the top of your foot, right? So if my foot is on the floor and I'm lifting my big toe, I'm using the muscles here to lift that big toe up. Now we're going to switch it around. We're going to exercise the intrinsic muscles on the bottoms of the feet. Again, super important. This is a hugely complex design, so we want to make sure we work everything that's in there. So raise all your toes, but keep the balls of your feet on the floor. So for those who aren't sure, these are the balls of your feet. So your toes are just this part that come out. It's not your whole foot, right? So it's just from the balls of your feet out to the tips of your toes. So you got them all lifted up? Breathe a little bit as you do this. Spread your toes out a little bit. This just makes it easier. See if you can keep all your little toes lifted and press just your big toes down and then lift the big toes up with all the little toes. So we're just going to keep doing that. So it's just the big toes. And again, this may be really weird and difficult to do. If you haven't done this a lot, if you're in shoes all the time, think about your own personal habits with shoes. Are you in shoes all the time? Are they tight-fitting shoes? Do they have a lot of cushioning and support? That doesn't help your feet do their job. So the next time your big toes are down, have a look down there. And then relax all your toes. Just kind of let everything relax a little bit. Just notice what that feels like now in your feet. Okay. So then we're going to lift all the toes again. Now keep your big toes lifted and put all your little toes down. And then lift. And breathe. So we're lifting and lowering just the little toes and keeping those big toes lifted. So with the big toe lifted, we're engaging the intrinsic muscles on the top of the foot. As we lower the little toes, we're engaging the intrinsic muscles on the bottom of the foot. That's a 2 for you guys, right? So we're getting all kinds of benefit here in the bottoms of the feet, and your brain is on overload right now. It's not entirely sure what we're doing, why we're doing this, when will I ever need this. You need this every time you take a step if you want to be able to balance well. Right? Balance, I don't think, is so much or losing your balance is not so much a byproduct of aging. It's a byproduct of being in shoes for a long, long time. Okay, and then lift all your toes, relax them all down. Take a couple of breaths, because I know there was some breath holding in there, because this is just kind of crazy stuff that we're doing. Let's come up and down a little bit on the feet. So come up on your toes, up on your heels. Good. Excellent. And then when your feet are flat on the floor, we're going to go out onto the little toe side and then onto the big toe side. Little toe side and big toe side, keeping your heels on the floor as you're doing this. Okay. And we got one more exercise to do for the toes. So let's raise all the toes up. Breathe in, breathe out. So this should feel a little more normal now, because we've had the toes lifted a few times here this morning. So now I'm going to ask you to press your big toes down and your pinkies, but not any of your middle toes. You knew that was coming. You thought I might have forgotten that this morning. I didn't. Relax everything. Let's try that again. So I'm going to give you a little cheat here if you'd like. So raise all your toes, right? If you can lean forward, take your first 3 fingers, slide them under the 3 middle toes, and then see if you can press your big toes and your little toes down. Okay. Yeah? And relax, and then try that again, right? So keep at it. So we're pressing the big toes and the pinky toes down, but none of those middle toes, you guys. It's not working. It's not working. We're going to just keep at it, like over the next several weeks, right? And relax your feet a little bit. So let's come up and down a couple more times. Heels and toes. Good. And then inside, outside edges. So these are great exercises to do when you're sitting, if you're watching TV, if you're reading, if you're doing a puzzle or cards or anything like that. You can do this at any time. Again, think about how we exercise our bodies, right? So we exercise our arms, we get stronger in our arms. We exercise our legs, we get stronger in our legs. Your feet have muscles too. And those muscles need to be exercised in order for your feet to be strong. And when we don't do that, again, when we're in shoes a lot, especially when we're in shoes that have a lot of cushioning support, and it seems like the footwear gets more and more supportive, which isolates us farther and farther away from a kind of a natural terrain. So we don't get the kind of muscle development in our feet that we need in order to be healthy. So doing these exercises, fun, it's good for your brain, it's good for your feet. Keep at it, and I promise you will get a little better with some of this. So scoot over to the right side of your chair. We're going to do a little bit of work here for the hips. So using those freshly exercised and stretched feet, we're going to heel and toe the foot all the way out, and when it gets out, we're going to extend the leg way out, turn and look to the left, turn your whole body to the left, breathe in, breathe out, turn your body back to the center, relax your foot, spider walk it back. So we're going to do this whole exercise. Sit up nice and tall, spider walk the foot out, go all the way out, 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 like you could touch the person on the side of you, turn to the left, breathe in, breathe out, keep that leg lengthened, and then turn back to center, relax the foot. We're going to spider walk all the way back. One more time, spider walk out. Extend, extend, twist, breathe in, breathe out. Excellent, and then come back to center. Let's spider walk that foot back, scoot way over to the left. So we're taking a little trip over to the right side and the left side, and a little spider walk out. Extend that leg way out, twist to the right, breathe in, breathe out. Coming back. Good. Walk the foot out again. Really extend, twist. And coming back. And last time, coming all the way out. Extend that leg out. We're going to twist to the right. And relax, coming all the way back. Good. Come back to the center of your chair. Oops. All right, holding on to the sides of your chair, sitting up nice and tall. We're on the front side of the hill, right? Last week I talked about the hill on the chair. So a little bit on the front side of the hill, but not so much that you're going to slide all the way to the bottom. So lifting through your chest a little bit here, use your belly muscles. We're going to take that right leg, lift it up and circle it around and bring it right back. Left leg, lift it up, circle around and bring it right back. So see if you can stay up nice and tall. Breathing in, breathing out. Slow and steady is the movement, right? So now we're kind of isolating the hips here. Breathe in, breathe out. If you're gripping your chair, relax your hold on your chair. Good. See if you can get that knee up a little higher. Great. How about one more time on each side? Good. Let's pause for a moment. So just notice your hips, the front of your hips, the sides and the back of your hips. So your hips are three-dimensional, right? So sometimes people think, oh, this is my hip out here. But this is your hip, and this is your hip as well. So, and the bottom is still your hip as well. So I got a little bird feather going on up here. All right. So now, instead of going up and out, we're going to go out, up, and around. So it's the opposite of what we were doing, right? So go out, so you're going to slide your foot across the floor, go up and around. Holding on to your chair, give yourself a little support, use your belly muscles. Breathe in, breathe out, go nice and slow. Everybody doing okay? Is this way harder or easier? Harder. Anybody think it's easier? Couple people. It's always a couple. Breathing in, breathing out. Good. How about one more on each side? We can do this, right? Okay, excellent. So from here, take your right leg, extend it out, heel on the floor. You might want to come right up to the top of the hill now. Now with your heel on the floor, reach your toes up toward your shin, take both hands to your left thigh. Lengthen through your spine. As you breathe out, you're going to come forward like you're trying to bring your belly down onto that thigh. And then as you breathe in, you're going to come all the way back up. So your right leg stays nice and straight. The toes are reaching toward the shin. Your back stays nice and straight. So when you come forward, you're hinging forward from your hips from right here. And it's like you're trying to bring your belly down onto your thigh, not your nose to your knee, but your belly to your thigh. And each time you come forward, see if you can come forward just a little bit more. Right? So maybe just a tad farther forward. Okay. And then next time you come forward, let's hold here and breathe. If you can, take your right hand and slide it down your right leg. Maybe you get to your knee, maybe you get to your shin, perhaps you get to your ankle, and maybe some of you get to your toe. Keep breathing. Keep lifting the toes toward the shin. So if your foot's relaxed, you want to engage that foot and lift the toes toward the shin. You'll be able to grab your toe better that way too. Breathe in, breathe out. With every inhale and exhale, see if you can come a little farther forward, feeling the stretch in the back of that leg. And the next time you inhale, let's come all the way up. Push your left hand into your leg. Keep that leg lengthened, and we're going to lift and lower. Right? So lifting and lowering. If you like, you can bring your hands right alongside your hips. Good. Couple more. Breathing in and breathing out. Okay, next time you lower that leg down, we're going to bend the knee, bring the heel right underneath that knee, and then extend the other leg. Heel on the floor, toes reaching toward your shin. Both hands on your right thigh, lengthen your spine. Keep that leg nice and strong now. As you exhale, you coming forward. Make sure you're on the top of the hill on your chair, because if you're on the front edge, you're going to slide off that hill. We don't want you sliding off the hill. So just breathing in and breathing out again. It's like bringing your belly down onto your thigh, not your nose to your knee. Good. So we're just introducing this stretch into the back of the body and doing it slowly. So coming forward and moving out of it in this really slow way helps to convince the muscles to let go in the back of your body. This is different than bouncing. Some of you, maybe back in the 70s, I think this was really popular. It was called ballistic stretching, where you'd come into something and you'd bounce. Terribly bad for the muscles. Not very good at all. What that does is it increases the tension in your muscles. So we're going to come forward now and hold. It's funny how things change, right? What's good today, what's good for us today is not good for us. Like coffee. Is coffee good or bad? It's good because it's Friday. But on Monday, it's bad for us. Right? Chocolate, same thing. You know, on Thursday, I think chocolate is fine, but on Saturday, don't touch chocolate. So take your left hand and slide it down your leg. And just go as far as you can. So keep the toes lifted toward the shin and see if you can reach down and grab your toes. Say hello. If you can't reach them, just wave. Wave your toes toward your fingers and your fingers toward your toes. Wouldn't that be fun, right? Breathe in, breathe out. And with every breath in and out, see if you can just relax a little bit more into this stretch, into this forward bend. Good job, everybody. How about one more breath here? And then we're going to come all the way up. Excellent job. Keep that leg lengthened. We're going to take the hands right alongside the body. Use your belly muscles. We're going to lift and lower that leg nice and slow. Keep your knee as straight as you can, right? Keep your toes lifted toward your shin. Good. All right. One more time. We're going to hold it up here just for a breath. And then see if you can really slowly lower down. Excellent. Bend that knee. Place both feet on the floor right underneath your knees. Let your hands rest on your thighs. Sit up nice and tall. Close your eyes. Taking a breath in and out. Take a moment here just to notice. Notice your feet, your toes, your ankles, lower legs, knees, thighs, hips. And then let your eyes open. Good. All right. So having your feet just a little bit wider apart, maybe about as wide as your hips, maybe just a tad wider. Sit a little more toward the back of the hill. Right? Okay. So from here we're going to start just with the legs. So I'm going to ask you to simply lift your right knee, your right foot off the floor, keep the knee bent, and then down. And the left and down. So it's just a marching movement, right? Back and forth. Now if you're leaning as you're doing this, put your hands on your chair, see if you can keep your body upright. So we're just using hip flexor muscles to lift. Those are muscles that cross from your lower leg into your hip. And breathe. Did I forget to say that? I did. Okay, so sorry. All right. Everybody doing okay with that? Okay. So both feet down. Now let's see if we can add just a little level of complexity to this. So as you lift your right knee, or your right foot off the floor, tap your right knee with your left hand. And then lower that down. We're going to tap the left knee with the right hand. So we're simply going back and forth, right? Breathing in, breathing out. Everybody doing okay? Good. Excellent. So if you'd like, continue to do tapping the knee with the hand. If you want a little more challenge here, see if you can tap your foot with your hand. So you got to really bring that knee up high to tap your foot, or go right back to your knee. Right? Okay. How about the foot? Good. How about the knee? Stay knee. If you're going to stay knee, stay knee. That's fine. How about the foot? Good. And the knee one more time. Okay. Relax. Take a breath. Close your eyes. Make yourself really comfortable here. So we're going to do a little check-in. So with your eyes closed, just notice what you feel in your body. So we did some really challenging things this morning for the feet, for the knees, the hips. Did some challenging things with the arms, the hands. So begin by scanning your body from head to toe. Just notice what you feel. Let's start maybe with the right side of your body, the right side of your face, your neck, your right shoulder, your right arm, hands, fingers. What about the joints? The shoulder joint, the elbow joint, the wrist joint. And then down the right side of your rib cage. What do you notice on the right side of your rib cage? Down into the right side of your waist, your hip. And remember, your hip is not just the side, but it's the back and the front as well. So what do you notice in the front and back of that right hip? And the bottom of the right hip, which is where you're sitting. Your sitting bone, or your sitting bones, are part of your hip. And on that right side, can you sense your sitting bone, your right sitting bone on the chair? And down into your right leg, your femur, that's your thigh. Down into your knee and your lower leg. And from the lower leg down into your right ankle. How about the inside of your ankle and the outside of your ankle? And then the front of your ankle, where we did that stretching with the top of the foot. And down into the right top of the foot, the bottom of the right foot. And all the toes on the right foot. And then move over to the left foot. Notice all the toes on the left foot. And the bottom of the left foot, the top of the left foot, the front of the left ankle, the inside and outside of the left ankle. Going up to the shin, the calf, and the left knee, and the left thigh. And traveling up into your left hip, the front of the hip, where the hip crease is, or the groin area, into the outside of that left hip, into the back of the left hip, and the bottom of the left hip. This is your left sitting bone, where your left sitting bone is in contact with the chair. That sitting bone is part of your hip. And then come up into the left side of your waist, and the left side of your belly, and the left side of your ribs and low back. And your left armpit, into your left shoulder, your left upper arm, your left elbow, your left forearm, wrist, hand, and fingers. And don't forget that thumb. And the left side of your neck, and the left side of your face. And then notice your face between your eyebrows, around your eyes. See if you can relax the muscles here and relax the muscles in your jaw by letting the upper teeth and lower teeth come apart a little bit. And notice the front of the neck and your chest, from your collarbones down into your ribs, and from your ribs to your belly. And from your belly all the way down to your pubic bone, which is, again, part of your hips. And then the front of your thighs. Those are your quadriceps muscles. We talk about those all the time. Those thigh muscles that run from the front of your hip all the way down below your knee. And then the front of your knee. And down into the shins. Tops of the feet and the tops of the toes, all the way out to your toenails. And then wrap around the bottom side of your foot, so you feel the bottoms of your toes through your arches, into your heels, and then up through the Achilles. Most of us know where our Achilles tendons are. It's in the back of the heel and up through the lower part of the lower leg. And then up into the calf muscles. And the backs of the knees, and then the backs of the thighs. These are the hamstring muscles. From the backs of the thighs up into the bottom of the hips. That's the sitting bones on the left and right. Sensing both sitting bones on the chair, coming up into your lower back, your lumbar spine, your sacrum, and coming up the back of the body through the spine, through the ribs, into the shoulder blades. Coming up to the back of the head, right where your neck meets your skull. This can be a tender spot for many of us. And then from that place where your neck and your head join, come up the back of your head all the way around to that starting position in the forehead between your eyebrows. And scanning now your entire body all at once. The right side and left side, front and back, the whole body. Breathing in and breathing out, notice how your body responds to your breath. When do you expand and contract, and where do you expand and contract? Is this something that operates under the level of your awareness, or are you more aware of it now? And notice your thoughts. Thoughts are like mental tension. When we have too many thoughts, it's like having too much tension in the body. If we don't have enough thought, we're not exercising the mind enough. So the best way to have just the right amount of thoughts is to notice them like clouds in the sky, to observe that they're moving, to observe that they move through constantly, continually. And now moving from this place of internal awareness of your body, your breath, and your mind, start to notice sounds. Sounds outside yourself. Here in the room today, we've got the sound of wind and birds. As you breathe in and out, see if you can inhale and exhale the sound. We don't just experience sound in our ears, we experience sound in our whole body, because sound is a vibration. Breathing is a vibration. Combining sound and breath is like forming a band. So bringing two instruments together. And while a solo instrument is lovely, combining instruments can create symphonies of sound. Let's add another instrument to that band. See if you can smell. Bringing your attention to what you're able to smell. And again, here in the room today, the doors and windows open, there's that smell of spring, perhaps, that outside air. And notice how combining smell with sound and breathing creates a different rhythm in your body. If you'd like, you can bring your hands up to your heart Breathe into that space underneath your hands. Let it go with a sigh. And then perhaps bringing your hands together for a moment and just coming into gratitude for whatever in your life you feel grateful for just for this beautiful day, and gratitude for this beautiful day. And then if you like, you can open your eyes and just perhaps look around at all these wonderful faces, and gratitude for the ability to be here together today. That has much more meaning now after the last 2 years, to be able to be together. So enjoy. You're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day, you guys.